Welcome to Builder 411. I'm your host, Mike Eccles, and today we're going to talk about this. This is a Kasa Wi-Fi Smart switch. What's so great about this is that you can use this and replace it with typical switches within your home, and you can control this switch by an app or by like Google Assistant or Alexa. Today I'm going to do a review of it, and then I'm going to go in after I do the review. I'm going to show you how to install this. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. I'm your pro builder, Mike Eccles, and here at Builder 411, I try to educate you into the process, the materials, and the skills you need for a successful project. And today's project is the Kasa Wi-Fi Smart Switch. And what do I like about this switch? And I'm going to start off with doing a review because I have wired in a dozen of these or so for different clients, and I've also put 3 or 4 of these in my own home. And I really like this. For the first reason I like it is because it's very easy to set up. And what I mean by that is when you actually get it installed and you start to look at how to set it up, there's an app you set it up on, and there's so many variations that you can control with that app to show the app when you want these lights to do certain things. And I'll go a lot more into that as I go through the install. This second thing I like about these things are really, really easy to install. Pretty straightforward. You'll see that today when I do the install. But I mean, most do-it-yourselfers in about 30 minutes or so can actually go in and wire these in, and then you go ahead and hook up to your app. The other thing I like is because it's compatible not only with Alexa, but also Google Assistant. So whether you use whichever one you prefer to use, works very well with either one of those applications. The last thing I like about it is there's 3 ways to control this switch. You can just manually go over and turn this on just like you do a regular switch. But the great thing about it is the way the app works. And that is the second way you control this. So many ways you can control this light switch, which controls whatever light you have it hooked to, with that app. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more in detail as far as where's the best place to put these. The next thing I like about these is the cost. These are about $17, depending on where you buy them, $17, $18 to switches on the marketplace today that's running $30, $40. Then you can see that that's one of the pluses. One of the downsides of this switch that I want to talk about is it requires a neutral in your switch box. And now, yeah, you're like, what is that, Mike, right? But I'll show you when I do the install but what I mean. But most homes today are wired, I'm going to say probably 90-95% of them are wired where the neutral is in the switch box location. There are homes out there in what I call the California style. It's just kind of a professional term that we use, and that is where the neutral is actually wired up in the light itself. And then you could not use this in those applications. So as I get ready to show you the install for one of these, I'll go a little more into detail what you need to look for as far as, making sure that it has that neutral in the box so you can use these. So where's a good spot to put these in at? Probably the best place I like to install them, and that most of my clients like to install them, is in exterior lighting. And the reason for that is because there's so many settings that you can do within the app to help control that light. For example, you can put it on dusk till dawn, which just means that when it gets dark, starts to get dark at night, those lights that's controlled by this switch will come on. Now that's nothing really fancy because they make dusk to dawn lights for the exterior. Not only can you control it from dusk to dawn, but within that dusk to dawn setting, you can actually say to the switch that you want it to turn off and on at specific hours. Another reason why I like it for that use, because you can be away and you can actually go into your app while you're away and turn your lights on at say 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and then have them actually go off at midnight. So then it can act as a deterrent. And I'll show you how to set those up in that app, but I like it for that reason. Another place that I like to use these is in a bedroom. You can put these in your bedroom, and then as you get ready to go to bed, you can say, Google, good night. And then what will happen is any light switch that you have in that app that's controlled by that app that you said, when you say those words, then all those will go. So you could have 4 or 5 lights on in a home, then all those light switches will go off. Another way is when you come into a room, let's say you're gone for the evening and you're coming home at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it's dark in your house, you can actually set in your driveway, open up the app, and turn on whatever lights you have onto this, or into your house and tell Google or Alexa, hey, turn on my lights, turn on the front room light, turn on my bedroom light, and those lights will come on automatically without you having to go to those rooms. And that is, to me, that's just awesome, that I can set out my car and turn on, before I come into the dark house, I can just turn on that light just by touching a couple buttons on my phone. It just doesn't take very long. And those are the great things I like about this. It is a great switch. These things cost me $17. I ordered from Amazon. I'm going to put a link in the description below. And if you would, order those from that link. It pays me a little bit of money that helps me with these videos. I appreciate that. But these are about $17. Compare that to $30 to $40 for some of the other smart switches that are out there. And then you can see why this is such a great switch. And then when I get it installed, I'll just show you some of the things that you can do with it as well. So what I'm going to do now I've talked about this thing, just know that this vendor did not pay me to say these things. Okay, this is a very biased opinion. They didn't send this to me. Like I told you, I bought this one. I'm going to install it in my kitchen. I wanted to add another one in, and I thought this would be a great time to show you as the viewer how to install one of these. Just know that this, what I'm telling you about this, it's very biased. They didn't send me, they're not sponsoring me. They didn't send this to me to say, hey, please promote our product on your videos. I just like this. I use it for myself. If you can wire one of these up in your house and you want to have that smart switch technology, this is the switch to go with. It's the Kasa Wi-Fi smart switch. And I've repositioned this camera where this light switch is that I'm going to replace. And all I've done so far is just pull the light switch, took the cover off of it, unscrewed these small screws right here, and I pulled this all out on the box. I want to put this cautionary statement in there for you. These switches are live and hot, and they can shock you. And so one of the things that I tell people, anytime that you're going to be doing any work on any electrical components, the thing you need to understand is that you can cause damage to your home or to yourself if you're not careful and understand what you're doing. And so the first thing I want you to look at here, here's a nice little tester. These things are fairly cheap. I think these are like $5 at any of your Home Depot or Lowe's. But what this does is, if you'll see, I can put this on each side of this switch. I put on each one of those black wires, and what I'm doing now is looking to see if there's any red light. And as you notice, there's no light right here. If there was, then that means that that is still hot. So I'm going to try to bring this into the camera just a little bit, but these things are fairly inexpensive and they're a lifesaver, because now I know that that switch is absolutely turned off at this point. Now, if you'll remember, I told you that I would show you what I meant by neutral in the box. When you pull this out, you have this look. There should be 2 black wires, one to the bottom and one to the top of this switch, as you see right here. And then there's 2 white wires that's typically wired together with the yellow or orange wire nut. And what that means is this specific switch has what is called the neutral in the box. Now, like I told you, there are some locations, depending on the electrician, this is all done in the light switch, in the light itself. So the only thing you're going to see down here is a white wire and a black wire. So if you open your switch up and all you see is a white wire and a black wire, then this Kasa Smart switch is not going to work in your application. So that's the first thing you need to determine when you want to replace this switch with a smart switch, and that is to determine if it has this white wire in there. That's your neutral wire. And in this case, this one does. So now we know that this specific switch is compatible to this Kasa Smart switch. So let's unbox this. And here's what you get in there. You get the switch itself. Hopefully I can get all this out of there. And this is what the switch looks like. It has this fancy little pop-on cover plate that just pops on and off. And then this is the switch itself. And if you look on the back, it has a white wire, 2 black wires, and a green wire. And I'm going to show you where all those go in just a second. And there's the switch. And then once you get it all installed, then the cover switch pops on from. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and I'm going to remove my switch. Now remember, I've already put my tester on here, so I know at this point in time that there is no power to this light switch. And so I'm going to work to remove this, and it takes a little bit of work. Loosen up the screws first. Okay, so what I've done now is I've unhooked the switch, and now I'm going to unhook the white wires as well. And so I need to clean these black wires off a little bit. And these little dikes are great dikes, and I'm going to put them in the description as well. I'll leave a link in the description for these dikes. Well, this comes with, inside here, there's 4 wire nuts that come with this, and you're going to need those. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the green wire here that's in the back of this switch, and we're going to take the ground wires, which is going to be right here, and we're going to wire in this, take one of their wire nuts that they give us with the kit, and we're going to put those two together. We're just going to rotate those on there and turn that till it's tight. And as you can see, it's nice and snug. Then we're going to do the same thing with our neutral wire. We're going to take both of those neutral wires that were already wired together, and we're going to wire our neutral wire off our switch in there. So you should have 3 white wires in this together. Again, we're going to take one of their wire nuts that they provided with the kit, and we're wiring these up real nice and tight. Now what that leaves you is 2 black wires. We're going to hook, and it doesn't matter which one you do. We're going to hook 1 black wire to that one, and these just twist on there. And make sure you got a good twist. See how I've got that twisted together? Then we're going to take the 4th wire nut that they provided in this package, and we're going to come over here to the last black one. And again, it doesn't matter which black one goes black, just as long as you're doing black to black. And so there we have it. We have the 2 blacks together, all the neutrals together, and the ground together. Now all we're going to do is start stuffing all of this in that box. And you got to work with it a little bit to get it all up in there. And this switch has to go up in there. Now when you look at this switch, you can put it upside down, but what you want, if you look at the back of it, all the wires have to be to the bottom of the switch. And you just start working it all together here, and you got to kind of work this just a little bit to get this all started in there. There you have it. Now my switch is installed. Okay, at this point what I've done is turn the power back on. If you look at this light, you can see it flashing. That means the switch is wired incorrectly, and now it's ready to hook to our app. Okay, here we are. We're set up for the actual application, how you set the app up. And the first thing you're going to have to do is go over to the App Store or Google and download the Kasa Smart. It's a little green symbol. Hopefully you can see that one right here. And when you go there, once you've downloaded that app to your phone, then you're going to go create an account, put in your email, your password, and your location. Now the location means your location as far as geographic location. Doesn't mean like Texas or Oklahoma. It means the United States. You create an account, go to your email, activate your account, and allow your location. Now we're going to go into the app. I've already done all that. You'll have to do the same thing. And now we want to add a device. And basically, you've got your smart switch on, and now we want to add this device. And hopefully you can see these things. It's a little challenging, but what that says is, what do you want to add? We want to add a device. And then here, do you want to add a camera, a smart plug? And you go find what we are. We're a smart switch. And there's a three-way switch, a smart dimmer, or a smart switch. We're a smart switch. And then it asks you right there when you get there, have you installed it yet? Yes, we've installed it. It's asking you at this point, is it orange and green? And it's really that simple. And then it found it. And then we're going to click on that one. I am ready to connect. So what I've done now is I had to go and connect my switch to Wi-Fi, but first I had to put my phone on that Wi-Fi. So there's a sequence to do this, and that is you have to put your switch on the Wi-Fi, and in order to do that, it's asking you for your password to your Wi-Fi. Once you do that, it brings you to this, and this means it found that device, and now we're going to add that device. I'm going to give it a name. And so I gave it the name that I wanted. Choose an icon. I want to use a switch. I'm going to save that. And so just to recap what we did is once we got our switch installed, we went and downloaded the app to our phone. We put our app on our Wi-Fi system, and then we added our switch to that Wi-Fi system within the house. And so now what it's doing an update. Okay, so now where we're at is we've wired it in. I've gave it a name. In this case, I've given it kitchen. So now if you'll see, there's a little button over here on the side. Anytime I touch that button, it will turn my light off and on. You can't see it here, but it is actually turning the light on and on in my kitchen. The other things that you can do, if you look at the bottom of this app, you just have to get in there and start using it. But it has all these great features as far as setting up a dusk to dawn. If this was an exterior light, which, you know, for me, it's just a kitchen light. And so what I will have it do is be voice activated. I'll put it on my base unit, which is, I use an Alexa system. And so I'll add that to that system. So then when I come in, I can either turn it on and off right here on this app, or I can turn it off and on by saying Alexa. So there you have it. We talked about what I liked about this unit. We talked about how easy it was to install. Hopefully you've seen that as I showed you the install process. The big key takeaways there is to make sure that you have a neutral wire in that box or that switch won't work. The second part of that is I tried to show you, it's a little bit difficult on a camera to show you how that app works and sets up on your phone, but it's very intuitive. Once you get your actual switch installed, then download your app, go through step by step on that app, and that app will work you through it. The big thing I have to talk about when you start to set up the app is to make sure you have a Wi-Fi system and you actually set the switch up that the app is on your phone to the Wi-Fi in your home. Once you do that, then you pair the two just like you would any other pairing, and then your phone can actually communicate through the Wi-Fi to your switch, and you can actually turn that switch off and on through the app. The second part of that setup is then you have to go in if you're using Google Assistant or Alexa, and you actually have to go and add that device to that platform. I would have to go into my Google Assistant and actually set that device up. And it's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive to do that as well. So you have 3 ways to control that switch once you get it installed. You can manually just walk over and turn it off and on. You can actually control it with your phone app. The third way is, as I walk into the house, I can say, Google, turn the kitchen light on, and it will actually turn that light off and on for me. Now, the other great application for these, as I talked about, is for exterior lighting, because you can set them up for a dusk to dawn, or you can actually turn them on and off, a timer on your phone. So there's a number of different applications that you can use this specifically. Hope this video been informative to you. If it has, reach down there and click the like button for me. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and subscribe now. And until next time, I'll keep teaching, you keep building.